Thanks everyone for being here this beautiful Saturday morning. It just feels better this morning, and we're excited about our football team and our student athletes and our coaches being able to compete. It certainly has been a long road back to get to this point, and I'm going to thank a bunch of people here because we are truly grateful for this opportunity. We're going to embrace it, and we're going to get after it. So I'll start with MAC Commissioner John Steinbrecher and Associate Commissioner Bob Generali. Too many meetings to mention, but their great leadership through this process was outstanding. Our MAC Medical Advisory Panel, a bunch of team doctors from different campuses, infectious disease folks. I learned a lot through this process, and they had some late night calls, I know. So I do appreciate all the time and effort that they put into this. Locally, President Rodney Rogers, who has juggled running a university, but also taken the time to be involved and really engaged in these important discussions. Yesterday, rightfully, the Board of Trustees approved a contract extension for President Rogers, and we're very thankful for his leadership. You can't do it with just one person. So Rodney has a great staff, Chief of Staff Sue Houston and Chief Health Officer Ben Beatty. We've been meeting weekly with them since, I don't know when, July, it seems like, and they've been instrumental for our student athletes and our coaches to even get back on campus and start working out. Our great partners at Wood County Hospital and Falcon Health Center, who have been running tests for our student athletes, working with us, trying to be innovative. The CEO, Stan Kurducky, and Dr. Lemon have been great to work with. In our department, our team doctor, Dr. Knopfs, assistant AD for sports medicine, Dan Fisher, and our head football athletic trainer, Danny Koppas, are leading the way for our athletic sports medicine team with great care and great concern for our student athletes. Deputy AD Kit Hughes and Senior Associate Stacy Koziak put together a working group for athletics. Probably half our entire department was on this working group. A lot of people, a lot of options, a lot of points of view to consider. Unfortunately, I can't name those individually. Name all those people individually, but a lot of people put time and effort to get us back. Not only just for football, but all of our student athletes, and get us back to what lies ahead, which is competition. Coach Leffler and his staff, his student athletes, this has not been normal for them. And, I've been poked and prodded by Coach Leffler, and I appreciate all of that. But his patience, which he doesn't have a lot of, but his patience and continuing to work with us, the spirit of innovation. We talk about that at our university a lot, and figuring out ways to get this done, moving our weight room to a bigger facility, just being patient. The student athletes, the football student athletes, we have one here today, but we've had others on our leadership calls with our student athletes, and this is not only football, but all the rest of the teams. We've had bi-weekly calls with our student athletes who have a lot of great questions. Now is the student athlete voice is being heard loud and clear, more now than ever before. And they had great questions about our protocols. Why are we doing this? Why shouldn't we be doing this? Why aren't we doing more testing? So those were great questions by our student athletes that helped shape our return to campus plan and to this point where we are today. Again, I said, I'm sure I'm missing folks in our department and in the community, but this has been a total team effort, and we are thrilled to be back. My fellow ADs in the Mid-American Conference and the presidents, we all don't get along and see eye to eye all the time, but we put our heads together and work through our challenges, with Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, New York, and Ohio, the different local laws and guidelines that we have to follow. It took a total team effort to make this happen. So we're excited. We're thrilled for the student athletes to have an opportunity to compete, a game that they've been playing probably since they were 5 or 6 years old. a game that they love. They love being with their teammates, and it's been a struggle not to be, close to your teammates. We're trying to continue to be physically distanced from your teammates. And we love watching them compete. And so we're excited. And I am going to turn it over to Coach Leffler for his opening comments, and then we'll open up for questions. But we're thrilled with the decision of the Mid-American Conference and look forward to getting back on the field of competition. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. I really appreciate it. And I do have patience, Bob. Just a little. I'd like to thank everyone for being here. Just like Bob said, breakfast smelled different, tastes different, and it's very exciting to be back in the fold and playing football for sure. But I'd like to begin by thanking a bunch of people also. As Bob mentioned, our president, Dr. Rodney Rogers, has been phenomenal through this. I couldn't imagine being able or having to run a university. I've got to deal with 110 guys. Bob's got to deal with 400 student athletes, and Dr. Rogers has got to work with 20,000 students. So what he was able to do during this time has been remarkable. I'd like to thank our AD, Bob Moosbrugger, and Associate AD, Kit Hughes. They've been, just like I said, ridiculous through this process. It hasn't been easy. It's been challenging, but they've always looked out for the student athlete, and I appreciate that. I'd like to thank the rest of the people in our athletic department. They've been great. Our support staff has been wonderful. I can't tell you the amount of hours beginning in early March that these people put in to help move the needle of our football team. The medical staff, Danny Koppas, our head trainer, our team doctor, Jeff Nass, have been wonderful. And I want to thank our players. We've had the ability over these last 7 months to move the needle of our team in a positive direction during a very chaotic time because of COVID-19. We found a way to improve during a time of complete uncertainty, and I want to thank everybody for their efforts. It's been a great team effort. We know that we still have a long way to go to get to the moon, but these next 10 weeks will give us a huge opportunity to continue to move the needle of our team in a positive direction. I last want to thank the MAC commissioner, all the presidents of the Mid-American Conference, the ADs, the doctors, the coaches, and all the players for giving us an opportunity to play football on Saturdays and also MACtion. With all that being said, I think Bob and I will open it up for questions.
Yep, we have Bob and Coach Leffler and Matt McDonald as well. Feel free, if you have a question, unmute yourself and feel free to ask the question to any of those three. Please address them so they know who to answer. Thank you.
Yeah, Bob, 4 tests per week. That's second most behind the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. How did you guys come to that decision?
It was debated, certainly. And, we wanted to come out strong, and people are going to question us, why are we doing this now? And we want to make sure that we made the commitment to protecting the safety and the health of our student athletes. So the 4 is strong, and I think again it will be still to be determined, but it's going to be a test before game day and a test after game day, and then 2 others during the week. And I think it gives us a great protocol to keep these young men and our coaches, our athletic trainers, everybody that's on that sideline in good health.
Is the cost for that coming out of each individual school, or is the league paying for that? I know the Mountain West has the league paying for it.
Yeah, the contract with the company that's going to be doing the tests is with the league, but it will, eventually the school is the one who's paying for it. And there are some schools that have already point-of-care antigen tests that on their campus already that they've been doing that they can continue. They're just going to have to certify their results with the league, and if they opt out of using the company that the league has contracted with.
Coach Leffler, I know for you, you are a very competitive guy. That's very obvious. How hard was this last couple months for you from the decision to stop or for the decision to play in the spring to now we're back to the fall? You're muted.
Yeah, I still can't figure out how to do these meetings, as many as I've had them, so I apologize. But I really felt, first off, for the players. Since they've been probably 8, 9 years old, they've been playing football on Saturdays, and I'm in all the requirements of social distancing, wearing masks, and all the things that they have to sacrifice. My first intuition was my thoughts about the players. And then second, we've got a lot of really good coaches on our staff that have coached for a long time, a couple of them longer than I've lived and than I've been alive, excuse me. But, it was very challenging for all of us. And I found out real quick that one, I'm doing what I love to do, and I don't want to do anything else in the rest of my career. And then second, I found out that when I do retire, I don't think I'm truly going to retire. I'll be one of these guys that is going to be an analyst or someone until I die. So my wife says, there's no question when you retire, you'll find a way to do what Chuck Heater did and go back. And it's just what we love to do.
Matt, from a player's perspective, you guys had the Thursday before preparing to report that next morning. Then the meeting gets delayed by Saturday. The season is off. Then there's this will they, won't they push. What has this just been like from that perspective, not knowing all the uncertainty, and then now you're going?
It's definitely been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, to say the least, but it's nice just hearing it out loud that we're playing for sure. It's just nice having a definitive answer. And it was devastating when they said the season was canceled. I was actually broke down and started crying in the meeting room when we found out that we weren't playing, because just so much hard work has been put into this. And just to hear that it got taken away from us from something uncontrollable was really tough. But we're just very thankful for everybody that put in the hard work to make it happen and get us back playing the game that we all love to play.
Just from the standpoint of getting this year to go off well, how much of this is player responsibility? Even like one guy not doing what he's supposed to can shut everything down.
Yeah, I've been telling the guys that it's up to us now. Like, we got what we wanted. We're playing again, but now it's in our hands. Like, we really have to be disciplined. We're going to have to sacrifice our social life, which is going to be hard. But if we want to stay healthy and play a full 6 to 7 game season, then it's in our hands, and we got to be disciplined about it.
Matt, what has the last couple Saturdays been like for you as you've watched other schools play college football? And I know the momentum was building the last week, but not knowing if you would be able to play, and you could see guys out there playing on Saturdays.
I would wake up, watch college football every Saturday. It was weird not playing. It hurt to watch. Like, I almost didn't want to watch because I see all my old friends playing, and they're playing safely, and I'm just thinking, like, why aren't we playing if everybody else can play? So that was definitely difficult. But like I said, we're just so thankful that we get to come back and play.
Bob, how quick did this come together? Because it was a week and a half ago that John said that plan was still the spring.
For the coaches and the student athletes, not quick enough. But for everybody else, it came together pretty quickly. We've been meeting probably twice a week all this fall as athletic directors with the Mid-American Conference, discussing, the decision we made back in August, and then discussing what fall sports in the spring look like. And then as Matt said, as we saw leagues continue to persist, as we saw testing become more reliable and more available, the conversation started changing. And, obviously it heated up recently, but, we needed to make a decision quick to be able to play at least those 6 games that, Matt talked about. So it was quick, but it was very thoughtful and a lot of conversation, late night conversations with the medical advisory group. So I think, we came up with the best plan, the best protocols that we could. And again, like you said, the second most test of any of the leagues. And I think we're really being proactive and making sure we keep these kids safe.
Is it safe to say testing is the biggest reason, we're here today talking about this? Because I know obviously Northern Illinois was a team that was strongly against it initially. Now they're on board as well. Was testing the biggest thing?
Yeah, I think we spent our most time on testing, who can do the test, who has test, the reliability of the antigen point of care test versus the PCR test. And so, we're not medical experts, the athletic directors and MAC commissioner, we're not medical experts. So we had to listen to the medical advisory group and take direction from them. And they worked together to come up with this protocol. And we're thankful for it.
For Bob or Scott, Bob, you had mentioned just the athlete voice part of this was just so unmistakable from beginning to end. Just what they thought, and in a lot of cases making appeals directly to the public that, they A, wanted to be safe and they B, wanted to play. How has that changed since you guys yourselves were college athletes? And do you see that as a change for the better?
Well, Scott was a college athlete. I was the baseball player. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anybody knew I was on campus back in the early 90s, Nick. But, it definitely has changed. The student athlete voice has changed, and it's a good one. Obviously, we're making decisions. We feel like we're making them in the best decision for the student athlete. But unless you know what the student athlete is thinking, it's kind of hard to get their perspective. And believe me, some of our student leadership calls, we have the opt-out policy, we have the excused absence policy, that we had some debates. The student athletes would question, what do you mean I can't go home and see my parents versus, can I even go to the grocery store? So it's important to get that voice, make sure that they understand, listen, we know, since I've been here, we've started meeting with the captains of teams and the leadership because we want to know, are we giving them the student athlete experience that they were told about on their recruiting trip? And we want to live up to that. And I think our coaches do a great job of that. But every now and then we got to reset and listen to our student athletes. And so it's an important part in making these decisions. Scott, the college athlete.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a great college athlete I was, but I'll comment on it. I think it's great that our young athletes are having a voice. And the thing that we try to do in our building is, as long as there's a conversation between the player, an open conversation between the player and the coach, or the player and the AD and what have not, I have no problem with social media. But I think the dangerous part of it is if you didn't have a conversation man to man and look each other in the eye and decide on things that you're going to try to accomplish, and you put it in the social media without having those conversations, I think that could be dangerous. But I think as long as there's open communication between the athlete and the coaches in the administration and the players in the administration, speaking out publicly is absolutely fine. But I just think in the way that I was raised is that if you've got a problem, go to the person that's in charge or what have not, have a conversation. Then after that conversation is made, I think social media has a very, very powerful way of portraying what you want to get accomplished.
Matt, from a player's perspective, you have the season taken away and you don't know what's going to come of the future, and now it's given back. How much more will that fuel your fire? And have you thought of that first drive, that first snap?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely teaches you not to take this game for granted. I know we're starting camp and telling some of the guys, like, camp's a grind. But during this quarantine and while football was gone, like, we just wanted to be there. So you really just teaches you to not take this game for granted. Because like Coach Leffler was saying, this was the first fall not playing since I was 7 years old. Coach Terry Malone, I think he said 50 years his first fall not playing, which is crazy to think about. But, yeah, I mean, just to not take this game for granted, I can't wait for that first drive. I've been dreaming about it, so I'm just really excited.
Matt, have you guys gotten to the point where you're just completely sick of doing like the OTA type stuff, walkthroughs, installs, all the stuff you guys just Zoom meetings that you guys did for months and months and months and months to actually know that real football is around the corner?
I think we've gone over install 1 like 50 times probably. So we're definitely sick of the Zoom meetings. Like we just want to throw on the pads and start playing some real football.
Bob, in terms of the schedule, can you give us any insight as to when we're going to get that schedule? I mean, the reports are you'll play the 5 other teams in the East and 1 crossover. Is that going to be a 3 home, 3 road? When can we expect that? Those types of things.
Yeah, Bob Generali is working on that as we speak. I think by sometime this next week we'll have the schedule. You're correct on the 3 home, 3 road. We start out with 3 midweek games here in November. Thanksgiving break, and the Saturday after Thanksgiving, we'll start 3 Saturday games heading into December with the championship on either the 18th or 19th. So the division opponents, and then our crossover, which is University of Toledo. And we look forward to that game.
Coach, any thoughts about potentially having to go to Buffalo in December and playing a game?
You know what? After what these last, since March, 7-8 months, however long it's been, if you told us to go play in Alaska in December, we're in. So it's just like Matt said, you take for granted of, what an unbelievable profession we're in, to be around a bunch of great coaches, great players, great administrators. It's so hard to win these days. It is so hard to win. And being able to build this thing the way that we want to build it, get ourselves to the moon. We're going to look back at this thing and go, we're going to get Bowling Green back to the standards and expectations that we all have here. And we did it even through a world pandemic, so we're just excited for the opportunity. So I don't care where we play, when we play. It's just, it's going to be an unbelievable opportunity. We've got a bunch of really good young players on this team that we recruited, and it's going to be really fun to teach them in 6 games how you're supposed to do business. And this opportunity is going to definitely catapult us into 21 and 22 and being, super, super successful seasons, in my opinion.
Bob, what was kind of the rationale behind 6 games and starting specifically when you do?
That, again, another hotly debated topic. Really wanted to try to start as early as we could. Today's the 26th. I think you can start practice on the 28th. We really just, from the medical advisory group and from the ADs, we really wanted to make sure the student athletes were ready to play. Like Matt has said, and they've been doing the 12 hours a week, but that's not game competition. And the things that you've seen in college football and the NFL with injuries, we wanted to make sure that they were ready to go for that first game. So that gives us the month lead up to that first game, November 4th, and then to have our championship by December 18th, 19th. That gave us the ability to have those 6 games in between that time frame. And
Scott, I guess kind of basically where is the team at? Have you been doing the 12-hour stuff? How long have you guys been in the current process of doing that?
We've been in that process and followed the guidelines of the Mid-American Conference and the NCAA rules since, we came back in beginning of July, I believe. Last week was the time where we slowed things down in anticipation for the opportunity to either play again or prepare for fall ball. So last week was the first time that we weren't on the field since July. We will probably this week be falling into the same boat in regards to we'll enter back into practice whenever we know that we can enter back into practice with our entire football team. And that could happen Wednesday. That could happen next Monday. I'm not sure. We've tested every single person on our team, every single staff member, so that whenever we do enter back into the practice world, we're walking in with a complete clean slate.
Bob, with everything that you guys have put in place, what is the confidence level like that we can get through the full 6 and not have any hiccups, and that BG won't have one single positive?
Well, that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen, Christy. I would love to say we're not going to have any positives, but we know we are. And what the team doctors, the medical advisors say, the transmission's not happening on the field of competition. It's happening in their apartments. It's happening in residence halls. So we know we're going to have positives. We cannot eliminate the risk. We're just going to try to control it. And, going back to the student voice and the hashtag we want to play, when we met with the players, I don't know what day that was earlier this week, I said, if we move forward, you guys want to play, we want you to make great decisions. And it goes both ways, and that communication goes both ways, and they have to make great decisions. And I think they've been told enough times what they need to do, physically distance, wear your mask, go to class, go straight back home, go to eat, go straight back home. But they still can get it from, just going to the grocery store. So, we're not going to look down on those people that are positive. We're just going to make sure that they are, go through the protocols and get them back to the field as soon as they can.
Bob, did you guys discuss how the scheduling will work if you guys get to the finish line and everyone has played an irregular number of games? Is it just going to be winning percentage?
I believe so. We have discussed it. Honestly, I don't think we've nailed that down for sure. Tuesday will be another more operational type call, and trying to make sure that we have everything in place. There's still a lot of things to be determined, but it will probably come down to winning percentage.
Do you expect most games, or how many games, to be midweek games?
3 midweek games and 3 Saturday games.
Is that the case for everybody?
Yes.
Think we might be about done. Any last questions before we close out?
I have one more for Bob. When you have those midweek games, that's the opportunity for MACtion to get all the eyes, all the attention. What will it be like for you and for all of BG to see you guys back, midweek game, everybody watching, and a sense of normalcy? Not completely normal, but some sense of normalcy.
I think Matt and Coach Leffler can speak to what that's going to mean coming out of the tunnel on Wednesday, November 4th. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. I can't wait. Like Matt, I haven't really been able to watch college football. I've kept myself busy, other areas. So I'm excited to see our student athletes and our coaches compete. There's so much work being going on. Coach Leffler, I think he eats, sleeps, breathes football. That first 15-play script has probably been through his mind a billion times. So those guys are the ones that are putting all the work in, and what they're going to be feeling on Wednesday, November 4th, whatever time it is, wherever it is, I'm sure will give us goosebumps, and we're looking forward to it.
Coach,
hey, Bob,
you want to speak to that?
Did you say, Christy, did you ask my follow-up?
Yeah, I thought your thoughts on that as well.
You know what? I'm going to be so excited for the players. I can't even see, just having the ability to go out there and compete on national TV and show the nation our brand of football. It's going to be super exciting. And the one thing that going through this experience that I'll never, ever do, I'm never taking my job. I'm never taking this game for granted. When you get it taken away from you, you really, really appreciate and respect the game. So I'm super excited to have the opportunity to coach again. I know our staff feels the same way, our players, and we're going to get to the moon, and we're going to look back. Just like I said, these 6 games are going to be very, very important for our development, in my opinion. I thought the first year it is what it is. The second year is finding a way to improve immensely, and without having this fall, we were going to be behind schedule. However you figure, you have to be able to play. You got to learn through playing how to develop your team. So, very fortunate that this opportunity came out for Bowling Green.
Bob, a clarification on the schedule. The 3 midweek games, 3 Saturdays, will the league start off with all 3 midweeks and then move to Saturday?
That is the plan, yes. All 3 midweeks and then 3 Saturday. 3 midweeks until Thanksgiving. Saturday after Thanksgiving will be the 3 Saturdays.
And Scott, how much does the ruling allowing everybody to have eligibility to come back help the growth of your program?
Incredible. Just like I said, if you look at our roster numbers, particularly next year, whenever you look at it, we're going to have 3/4 of our team are going to have 4 and 5 years of eligibility. How about that one? I mean, 3/4 of our football team is going to be, when you add the 21 class, the 20 class, and the 19 class, if you look at the numbers, and Jason, you have the distributions. It's fascinating. We are a super, super young football team, and I'm excited about it. I think we've recruited really well. We got to finish with this 21 class. I think this 21 class has the ability to be very similar to the 20. And we're able to take our older players that have bought into our program, bring them and mold them in together with this young youth and talent. And, we'll just build our program step by step and methodical, just like Dave Clawson did. And the whole key to this whole thing, whenever we took this job, is longevity. We could do the quick fix. We could have done it. You can go get a bunch of JCs and win fast and leave and all that. But Bob hired me to build this program back up and keep it up, just like Dave Clawson did. And that's the objective. We're going to methodically, step by step, build it, do it the right way with the right people, most importantly. And at the end of the day, we're just like I said, we're going to look back on this pandemic. We're going to look back on these 6 games and go, man, those were really, really important days at Bowling Green.
Bob, can I ask a quick question for the fans out there, in particular the season ticket holders? I understand there's for the 3 home games anyway, no butts in the seats, of course. Any consideration for those folks? I mean, everything's going to be on television, obviously, for them to follow the team, right?
Yeah, it will be on TV. That was, again, another debated decision. Still lots to be discussed there. But, right now the most important thing is to play the games and the protocols that we would have to put in place for the fans. At this point, I don't know that we're prepared for that. But we're going to try, obviously, to accommodate the players and coaches' families so that they can see band and cheer, try to create some atmosphere in there and create still a great student experience for those folks that put in a lot of time and effort as well. And we'll go from there. But, my heart aches that our fans all of our fans won't be able to see them in person. But we have to do what's best for the situation and make sure we get these 6 games in.
Is there any discussion that if things can, well, if they improve between now and then, that there could be limited attendance? I mean, Jack and I were at a high school game last night. They had a few fans there in attendance, but any talk about that as the season progresses?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think those high school games are letting families in, so we're going to be letting families in as well. And you know, this is a fluid situation. The decision, as we've known throughout this process, the decision we make today may not be the same decision that we'll make in the future. As more information becomes available, we'll continue to evolve our decision-making process.
Thank you.